Thanks for joining us for this video. We wanted to just share a quick tip with you in case you decide to start a homesteading or an off-grid journey maybe late in the fall or even into the winter. We were able to find some of these mill ends thanks to a neighbor, and they've helped us get through the winter thus far. We're happy to report it's actually pretty warm today, and so we had a good break from burning wood. We haven't had to burn probably close to 3 weeks now. Partly because we figured out we could do fine down to about 20 degrees or so, but also we haven't really needed to. It's been warmer the last few weeks, so above freezing at least. But we wanted to share this video with you because the reality is you probably won't be able to get the perfect firewood if you arrive to your property late in the year or even in the winter, as in our case, and so the conditions are just less than ideal if you rely on wood heat. Well, we found out from a neighbor that we can actually get an alternative to firewood pretty readily in our area. And what that means is you have other solutions to the problem. You have alternatives. And a lot of times with this journey, you kind of have to look at that. You have to try to find another way to solve the problem, because the way the general population would highly recommend you solve your problem, well, just isn't convenient. Doesn't mean you're going to fail. You kind of have to just problem solve. So where I'm sitting right now, we had a bunch of firewood about 2 months ago, and part of our rookie mistakes, we burned a lot of it up without really needing to, but we didn't really know that. So here we are. It's early February, and we don't think that we're going to need to burn a lot more this year, but we don't really know, and we do want to be prepared. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go get some fire logs. I wanted to clear one thing up. These particular fire logs we're actually not going to purchase from a retail store. And the reason for that is because we kind of talked with some of our neighbors who offered some alternatives to our situation here. Some of them even offered us some firewood, but it's not maybe the most ideal wood to burn right now because it's still pretty wet. We actually have quite a bit of firewood. It's on the ground, but it's not ready to burn. It's far too wet. It's not seasoned at all, so the heat would be terrible. So what we did in that conversation with some of our neighbors, we found out that there's actually someone locally here who makes these fire logs, and they have an opportunity to purchase them as seconds. What that means is they're damaged during the manufacturing process, so they're basically still a fire log, but they're unable to ship them to a consumer. And if we were to buy these fire logs at retail, we could do it, but it's definitely a considerable expense. At that point, it'd be neck and neck with trying to find somebody maybe who had some seasoned firewood for sale. But as it is, the seconds are available at a pretty good discount. So that being said, we should be able to get a pretty good value from these fire logs. Additionally, we can keep these fire logs in storage, which we plan to do, instead of keeping them out here in the weather. And that should keep them for a long time. So even if we don't burn them this year, we'll still have them for next year. And if we, for some reason, don't end up with a wood stove, we could use them for hot tub fuel, something like that. So we wanted to share that journey with you, and just again communicate that when you're in a situation like this, look for alternatives. There's usually a way in modern society to solve your problem in different ways. So let's go on a journey and let's go get some fire logs. Alright, so we got ourselves some fire logs, and if you're not familiar with them, they're basically sawdust that is highly compacted but they also dry the sawdust, so it has really low moisture content. Usually they're about this big or so, and this one actually is a second too because it's got damage on the ends and things. So what we ended up getting was a pallet of seconds, which are damaged, so they look like this, but for all intents and purposes it burns just the same. They just can't sell them at retail. So this pallet, it's deceptive, it's not very large, but this pallet is heavy. They're about 8 pounds per log, and there's 240 logs in here, so whatever that is, right at 2,000 pounds. So there's almost a ton of burn material here. They say statistically it's about a cord and a half or 2 cords of firewood. You have to kind of learn how to burn them because I think it's easy to burn them up really fast. That was our experience. We've been given instructions on how to burn them properly, and hopefully we can get a little more burn at them. We don't know if we're even going to need them or not. This was more like a precautionary step for us because it's been a little warm, but we may end up needing more wood for the winter. So we're actually going to put these in storage, and part of the reason for that is we don't have a really great place to store these at the property. They need to be kept dry, and they need to be away from high humidity, moisture, rain, snow. Not ideal to just put a tarp over them. That probably wouldn't work really well. So we're going to put them in storage for now, and if we need them, we'll come get them. Again, we paid $125 for this pallet, and that's about half price. I think it's really close to that. Normally a pallet of these things runs, I think, $225, $240, something like that, so a little more than half price. You will need a really heavy trailer. I don't know if this is even something that would work for most people. I guess the point of this video is that there's always options. In fact, we saw a video recently where a guy was using sunflower kernels, or not the kernels, the shells, to heat his house, because it's a byproduct. It's like a waste byproduct of these factories. They have nowhere to get rid of it, so he's getting massive amounts of energy for very low money. So this is an option for us, and the way we found this again was we talked to neighbors, we kind of networked and found out that we had somebody who actually produces a product like this in our area. Of course, not everybody will have that convenience, but if you just talk to people, you might find out that there's options, especially if you find yourself in an area where people are friendly, which would help to get away from unfriendly areas. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and put these in storage, and that's that. We made it. We moved a ton of fire logs. It's not pretty. It's good enough for now though. So we probably ought to come back and restack this or do something with it, but maybe summer will come or spring and we can fire up the hot tub or something. Who knows? Exciting stuff. And we can get this stuff burned up. So anyway, we wanted to share this experience with you. Hopefully it kind of gives you some ideas about how to tackle the crisis of heat or energy if you're starting your homestead or off-grid living in the fall or the winter and you don't have enough wood or other heat sources. So thanks for joining us for this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see others, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll put a subscribe button right here. And then also please follow us on our blog. It's purelivingforlife.com. And if you'd like to, we also have a Facebook and an Instagram. And we post small things over there that don't make it to the YouTube channel or to the blog. So if you like those, please follow us over there, and we'll see you next time.